how to hook a fish. You get a line and you throw it out. Okay, how to hook a fish. So, to me, when I look at this pattern, this is our funky fish pattern. It's a pattern that we've had for a long time that I still love, and I still hook it every once in a while just to reinterpret it. But funky is the key for me when I'm hooking fish. I don't really have a lot of interest in hooking realistic fish. So you can do, I'm just going to give you a couple of tips for hooking a fish. One is you want a nice pink eye, I think. So I'll always often, I shouldn't say always because like it's not like I'm always hooking fish. So I might take the pink in the eye. So maybe a pink or a mauve or a purple, you know. Okay, scissors.
Behind you.
Behind me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're really organized in our tutorials. So the eye is important. Then the gills are really important because these two lines here, like these lines, you're really going to have, these lines are really important, the gills and the fins. I always make sure that I outline, and when I outline these, I outline them nice and thick. That's an important thing that you'll want to remember. And I like it here that there's two gills because the two gills, see, isn't that great? The two gills together just have so much more impact than the one gill. Can you see that? Now, the other thing that I think, so I'm going to outline the whole fish, right? But I'm not going to do that here on this tutorial because we just have a couple of minutes. So I just want to show you what you could do. You could take two different grays, right? And say for the fins. And you could do it like this. There's a gray hand-cut cloth. And here's a gray sexy jersey. And you could just stripe those fins. And if you've ever been up close to a fish with gills, which I have because my father and I used to go to the wharf and get them when I was a kid. I also fished as a child. One day I caught 11 trout. It's my record, I'd have to say. And just keep striping it like that. And if you've ever been up close to a fish, you know that those gills are kind of ripped. They're really, fish are very magical animals. So you could do that. That will give your fish a lot of interest. Mm-hmm. The other thing you could do is when you're hooking the body of the fish, make sure you round it out. So I'll start about here and I'll hook up in the round. See that? I'm giving it a shape because a fish, of course, you know, it's puffy like your face. You just puff out your cheeks. So I kind of want to show the puffiness. And so I'm going to use all similar colors of gray because that's usually what we use in our kit for this rug. And we call this a funky fish. So one of the things, so you see that? So make sure that you hook in the direction. So it's a nice softly curved line. His mouth should be, again, I think of a codfish and they're sort of milky white in parts. And so I'm going to give this a milky white mouth. And though this is only one line, I'm going to, see that curve? There's the hook, right? You got that nice hook. And look how often the hook shape is repeated in this. Right here again, there's a nice hook shape. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to thicken up that hook right here. So it just makes it a little bit stronger, his mouth. And because this is the funky fish, I'm going to look for some wild, pretty colors to go with that gray. That's not doing it. Let's go over to my bin. I always keep a bin of scraps. So what I would do is let's pull out the purple and the gold, and let's pull out, I'll just throw in that, like there's a little bit of turquoise velvet there, and something else. Oh, there's a little bit of orange. Okay, so what I would do with these little doohickeys here, these little spots, because a lot of fish are kind of spotted, like a speckled trout, I would just hook up one loop, one end, one loop, and one end. and I would just keep doing that. I probably do even more than the pattern shows. And one loop, one end, and then now this one is bigger. So one is, I pulled up a loop and I tucked it under, and then another loop and another loop and then an end. So some bigger, some smaller. And I might put two of that shade there, and then 2 loops, one end over here. Might put that color, and then I'll just keep putting these crazy colors in here. And what I might do just for fun is take one of these colors and use an accent line right here to sort of mark the belly of the fish, because that will show up good against all the grays that I'm going to use. So I would just be really, really playful, because that's the idea of the funky fish. And there you go, how to hook a funky fish. Teach a man to fish.